These pink pearl ribbon earrings are super cute. I'm using pink ribbon, pearls, and crystals. To get started making this project, you will need ribbon, and this is 5/8 of an inch. You will need a pearl, an earring wire, a crystal, some super glue gel, this is Loctite, bent chain nose pliers, round nose pliers, and a scissors. You will also need a piece of wire. This is 22 gauge and I cut this 2.5 inches. I'm going to cut about 12 inches of ribbon. Now I'm going to start forming my bow. With my left hand, I've got one end. I'm going to make my loop. And instead of coming around the front, I'm going to go around the back. Then I'm going to take my ribbon and come around the loop that I made in the back. I'm pulling out the front loop like that. And then you just have to kind of jimmy it around until you get exactly the kind of bow that you want. So I'm going to pull that down. Kind of maneuver it. And then you have to match it with the bow that you already made. So let's match it with this. And this bow is much larger than this, so I'm going to pull it down until it matches. So I think that's pretty good. Pull it down maybe a little bit more, and then I have to tighten it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Taking my wire, I'm going to put it right underneath the front of the knot in the middle. So once I have this through, I'm going to form a little loop at the bottom with my round nose pliers. I'm going to open up the loop. Bring my wire back so I can hang on to the center knot. And then once that's in there, I'm going to close up my loop. So let's close this up. After making my loop, I'm going to put my round nose pliers back in, and I'm going to break the neck here. So I'm going to push the wire against my barrel like that, so my eye pin is straighter, and then I could come back in and push my wire together. Now I'm going to come in with my pearl, put that on, put on my crystal. I'm going to match up my bows. Then I'm going to to take my top wire, put my fingernail on the top of the crystal, push the wire to the back, and I'm going to make a simple loop. So I'm going to come in with my flush cutters, come about 1 centimeter, use my round nose pliers, roll towards me to make my loop. I'm going to cut down my ribbon, getting a piece of paper towel underneath. I'm going to use my glue, and I don't want to burn the edges here because I don't want this to have a black ridge. So I'm going to use my glue and come along the edge with that. So let's do the other side. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a second. To make the earring wires, I'm going to cut 2 inches of wire. And I'm using 20 gauge wire. I'm going to flush cut the end of both of my wires. Then using my 6-step looper, I'm going to use the smallest barrel. So I'm going to use this barrel. Holding both of my wires together, I'm going to put it in between the smallest barrel and the barrel next to it. Make sure that this is flush. Then I'm going to bring both wires up around the barrel until I form a loop. So I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to have my earring wire loop. Then I'm going to take my loops, I'm going to put it in my 6-step looper, and I'm using the last barrel, this one, the biggest barrel. So I'm going to put my loops in between the last barrel and the second to the last barrel, and then I'm going to push it around the largest barrel. Take it out, and there I have my 2 earring wires. Holding my 2 wires together, if one of my ends is longer than the other, I'm going to trim it down to match. Then coming in with my flat nose pliers, I'm going to take the ends and I'm going to bend it back just slightly. Using a jewelry file, I can go ahead and make sure that my ends are going to be nice and smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and file the ends down. Both sides. Then with these, you're going to just pull it apart a little at the bottom. Just like that. Okay, now you're ready to open it up. So we're going to turn it to the left. We're going to slip on our beautiful ribbon, earring, close it up. Do the same thing for this side. Turn it to the left. Slip on our earring and close it up. And there you have your beautiful pink ribbon earrings. Thanks for joining me. See you again next time.